I'm Murray Carter. Welcome to Carter Cutlery's High Performance Tips. Today we're at Terry's Gym in Vernonia, Oregon. We're with legendary bodybuilder Terry Fultz. What are we going to do today, Terry?
Today, Murray, we're going to do some chin-ups. We're going to do real chin-ups. We're going to go full range of motion. My eyes are going to go over the top of the bar. The camera's going to watch this very carefully. Make sure that no one is helping me in any way, and I'm doing full range of motion at all times. We're going to try to surpass 20. I'm age 65. I challenge the world to do half that many. Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. As soon as you get up there, I'll move the bench for you.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
I'm going to strap in because my grip will have a tendency, in order to do this many chins, to weaken before my back. So,
Okay,
ready?
Terry.
I'm going to pull the bench.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here's the bench gone. 5. 10. 15. 20. 21. There you go, Terry. 22. Looking good. 23. 24. 25.
That's
that
it.
bench. There you go. All
25's
right.
good.
25, Terry.
Woo!
That's excellent. With no warm up right off the
No
cuff like
warm
that.
up, just right out of the chute.
Yeah, well done. Well done. I'm sure our viewers are going to kick out of that.
Cool.
At 65, 25 pull-ups. Fresh off the block.
Regular person off the street, maybe 3.
Yeah,
Full range.
proper chins. And
proper.
that's with the grip on the outside too, not the grip on
That's
the
the
inside.
pull-up.
Pull-up, yep.
This is the chin-up. Yep, I'm out of breath.
Okay, well, we'll start with our tips in a few minutes.
Very good.
Okay, Terry, we're going to start with warm-up.
All right.
And everybody understands you got to warm up before you do exercise.
Yes, you do. It's very important.
Yeah, but everybody doesn't understand exactly why we got to warm up and what we need to be looking for when we warm up. Tell us a bit about that.
I'm glad you asked that question, Murray. What we're looking for is integrity of the joint. The joint is the weak link in the chain for most people. There are a lot of issues that can stem out of a joint problem. Shoulders especially are weak because they are so movable. They are multi-motion joint and have a lot of flexibility at the joint itself. Because of that, there is also a potential for a lot of problems that we may or may not even be aware of. We could have helped someone change a tire the night before.
Yeah.
And we could have turned something and upset one of the rotator cuff muscles, and we may not even be aware of that. So if we come into the gym and we just take right off into our workout without first testing the water, so to speak,
Through stretching.
we could set ourselves up as to a vulnerability issue and take what was formerly something easily identifiable and turn that into a major injury. So what we're going to do is we're going to lightly stretch and we're going to lightly press against the joints of the body to make sure we don't feel anything unusual. If we do, we need to pay attention to it.
Okay, well, let's see how you do that.
What we want to do for upper body is pull against the joints themselves by doing something like this and then rotating the shoulder and dipping my legs a little bit. I'm changing the angle. I'm searching. I'm making discoveries about myself, and I'm looking for something that may not be quite right. I can do the same, just the opposite, and I can push. It doesn't take a lot of resistance to discover if something's amiss inside the joint. And if it is, you need to be able to, in order to work around that issue, we can still do our training, but what we don't want to do is take a small injury and turn it into something that's going to render us out of the gym, period.
Sure, because that's a major cause for a lot of people to have to give up bodybuilding is an injury, which in many cases probably was preventable or avoidable.
Most injuries are preventable, and And what you don't want to see people do is not allow a small injury to heal and properly heal before you go ahead and put a lot of resistance back onto that muscle group, that joint, whatever, wherever in the body that little infliction may have occurred.
And we're going to be covering that in a later tip, how to heal up from injuries, proper use of ibuprofen and so on.
Ibuprofen and that type of thing. Yeah.
Well, let me give that a whirl and let's see.
Try that. Just get in there and stretch a little bit. Pull. Now rotate that shoulder a little bit. Dip the legs down a little bit. Change the angle.
Yeah, I can feel it differently in different parts.
You'll feel it differently just by moving the body around.
Okay.
Feel it in the elbow, feel it in the wrist, feel it in the shoulder. You'll feel it down the spine. What you're doing is you're making discoveries. You're trying to find and establish whether or not your body has structural integrity. If your integrity is there, then you're safe to go ahead and proceed with some major resistance.
Okay, so now I feel a little bit of soreness in my muscles from the last time we worked out. We did chest. Now, what's the difference between just normal soreness in your muscles and some kind of pain you might feel in your joints?
Okay, that is the difference. Soreness in the muscle is this. Soreness in this soft tissue that we call muscle. Okay? Joint is not bathed in red blood. It doesn't have the nutrient supply that the soft tissue does. It takes a long time. It's like a nerve. A nerve is protected within a sheath. Okay? The sheath prevents that nerve from getting fresh nutrients. It takes a long time for nerve damage to heal. The same thing will happen to a tendon, which holds muscle to bone, or a ligament, which holds bone to bone. So ligaments and tendons don't have that luxury of a bath in red blood. So the soreness that we get at the muscle, at the cellular level in the muscle, is a whole different ballgame compared to what's going on inside the joint. And the joint will render the muscle useless if the joint can't function.
That's right, that's right. Okay, Terry, now what about the lower body? How do you want to go about stretching that out?
Lower body would be the same as upper body. If you took your arm off, Mary, and turned it around, it's a leg.
Okay.
Okay? The only difference between this limb and that limb is this your elbow doesn't have a kneecap.
Okay.
Other than that, they're the same limb. Your wrist has almost the same amount of bones in it as your ankle. You have the metacarpals and you have the phalanges. Toes, metacarpals on your foot. And you have two major bones here and a single bone here. The same thing with the leg.
Okay.
So the leg is like the elbow in a way. The arm can't bend backwards. Neither can the leg bend forwards. So if we turn this around, that is the leg.
Okay.
See what I mean? So that's how simple that is.
Well, if I ever lose my arm, I'm going to start making knives with my toes.
There you go. Okay, if we take that knowledge that we have now, the limbs are basically the same. They're just reversed and one without a kneecap. So what we want to do is just put some slight resistance. The body weight is enough. So if I just start to bend my knees a little bit, my quads are immediately taking over my body weight. I'm no longer in bone support. Bone support is standing with your skeletal bones supporting you, okay? And we are being balanced, of course, by our muscular system.
But this is muscle.
As soon as we break the knee, now we're at muscle, okay? So muscle is now supporting us. So we want to just check the knee. So if we bend a little bit more, we're going to discover a little bit more. If I'm feeling pain or something in the knee joint, if I'm feeling something wrong in the joint of the ankle, I move my feet around. I'm just stretching and feeling things and making sure that my hips especially, I don't have any issues going on there, so I can stretch like this. It's just a search for the integrity of the joint more so than the muscle. The muscle soreness you're going to have, and as bodybuilders, trainers in general, you need to make friends with that soreness. The soreness that we get when we work our muscles is something that tells us how well we've worked our muscles. Not especially how hard we've worked them, but how well.
There's a difference there, how well versus how hard.
If we work them well, they'll be sore for quite some time. If we work them super hard, we may create an injury. So during the training tips coming up later, we'll go over the differences between them.
Yeah, we want to talk about difference between fatigue and overtraining, for example.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So my question would be, you know, a lot of people have back problems, lower back problems, so on. We want to make sure, how do we get a check to make sure our back is up to the task now for lifting heavy weights or lifting light weights, a lot of repetitions.
Okay. Back injuries. Most people age 40 and over already have a back problem.
40 over.
Okay. So especially our low back. We have 5 lumbar vertebrae, we have 12 thoracic, we have 7 cervical. So if we understand that as we age, those discs that separate the vertebrae begin to wear, they begin to wear out. By the time you get to be my ripe age at 65, so a lot of this is bone-to-bone contact by now, especially in my lower back. So what I want to remember when it comes to my back is that I need to keep proper form at all times, keeping my alignment in order. So when I move, and if you watch me move as I train, I generally try to keep my pelvis and my shoulders square. So a bad thing would be to take a good amount of weight and do this with it. Okay? Because that's
the classic
all
back
that
injury right
rotation on those lower vertebrae at the low back. See, my upper body's staying pretty square, but all the rotation's happening at the waist. So obviously then it makes more sense for me to do this, to move that leg and keep the pelvis and the shoulders square. There's where you're gonna have fewer problems. To test that, it's simply a matter of just bending over, and you can feel, let your arms just dangle, and just bend over and feel your back. Let it stretch, let it stretch. And again, I want the camera to notice here, I'm 65 years old, and I'm wrapping my feet under my hands under my feet, and my legs are straight. And that was really no effort. With a back issue, because I've had back issues since I was 40. So I've learned to work around them, be cautious with them, make sure that I move the weight in a manageable way and move manageable weight.
Okay, so in conclusion, I've noticed your common theme here, and that is that when you're stretching, you're really trying to pay attention to your body, what your body's telling you. It's an opportunity to check your systems. It's like a pre-flight check on a helicopter.
Absolutely. That's exactly, and it's just as important.
Yeah, and so this is going to, we don't just, when we finish stretching, we don't just leave our brains in neutral there. We take that information and then integrate that with the rest of our workout.
We certainly do.
Yeah.
What we want to do with that initial stretch and warm-up period is to set the stage, so to speak, for that workout
for a successful workout, yeah.
For a successful workout that day. And then we have to always remember and never neglect the fact that every time we walk through the door to the gym, something's changed. It's either the result of the previous workout, something that we did at work or in fun, or the way we slept that night. So something has changed. We're never the same people twice in a row. Each time we come to the gym, we have different issues to deal with, whether that's emotional, mental, or physical. But we are never the same person 2 days in a row. So we've always got to make sure that we kind of test that water.
And that's a Carter Cutlery high performance tip.